One of the speakers in the SAASTEC was speaking on bridging the gap between the society and science. I have with me Professor Mfanelo, who will take us through one of the talks that he was giving during the conference. But I'll allow him to introduce himself. Prof, can you please introduce yourself?
Thank you so much. I'm Mfanelo Ntsobi. I'm with the Sci Bono Discovery Centre as the CEO. But in terms of my scholarship, I'm affiliated with the Global Centre for Academic Research as an associate research professor. Above all, I'm a decoloniality scholar.
Okay, so you highlight something about the inter-university research program. Can you please tell us more about it? What are its aim? What is it?
Well, this is a participatory applied research program through a grant that was given by SAASTEC NRF around 2022, targeting 6 public universities. Among those in the Western Cape is University of the Western Cape, University of Cape Town, as well as Cape Peninsula University of Technology. And in KZN, you had the Durban University of Technology, and in Gauteng, it was University of Pretoria. And in the Northwest, it was Northwest University. The focus here is pursued towards bringing communities closer to science. You want communities that are critical about science issues, communities that are able to formulate independent opinions on science issues. But in essence, it means communities will get involved in resolving their own problems through this kind of engagement. So the study clearly seeks to close a gap between science and communities. So there are learnings that are coming from this research initiative by SAASTEC and NRF on the science shop models.
Okay. It sounds like it's a research. Is it a study or it's a program, like people get involved, or it's a study that is being done by someone, a student?
We are doing a study. When I'm saying we, I'm referring to the Sci Bono Research Unit.
Oh, yes.
But the initiative, which is, that's why it's referred to as participatory action research,
Yes.
it's a program by these universities. It's research, but it's action driven and it's participatory. It varies from institution to institution. Other institutions would take a year, and we are counting since 2022. Other institutions would take this program towards a 3-year program, but at the end of the day, there are results. And we are relying on these findings for us to continue with this study. And the ultimate aim is to bring innovation and research closer to communities.
So do you think, in your own opinion, do you think research can or has a potential to solve real-life societal problems?
That's what we teach our students, that research in abstract or ideation in abstract is going to throw us off. We get involved in research to resolve societal problems. We get involved in research to contribute to body knowledge, but we also get involved in research to influence policy one way or the other. Now, there is a problem, and the problem is that the science centers are not giving out sufficient output on research, and there's a knowledge, innovation, and application deficit. And the reality is that science centers get involved in knowledge creation and all aspects of knowledge perspectives. One would be factual knowledge. With factual knowledge, which is what we need to impart to learners, is that you don't use information that is not verified. How do you know that which you claim to know? Who are the authorities? So that's what we want to teach learners as they get involved in research and innovation. Secondly, is conceptual knowledge. They need to understand the concepts that underpin various domains. Thirdly, it will be the procedural knowledge, because these concepts follow a particular procedure. You don't just apply these concepts. That's why this study comes with various conceptual frames. Among those, they look at the gap society, science society gap. Then we come with a concept which is rigor relevance concept, which was ordinarily used in management theory, but is now being repurposed to bring communities closer to science. And lastly would be science engagement, which encapsulates making communities or supporting communities to be more informed on science issues. Of course, I would have said we get involved in science, we get involved in innovation and research to resolve societal problems. And these are problems that are affecting us at a local level. Hence, we support the notion of indigenous knowledge systems, support and promotion of indigenous knowledge system. We are also part of this movement that supports indigenous knowledge systems in the context of southern epistemologies.
So maybe someone is watching and like, what problem has science ever solved? Do we have an example of something that the society has benefited in science as at large?
Well, I'll be practical. In the Science Centre, which I lead, Sci Bono Discovery Centre, we have various programs and workshops, including STEM workshops. Learners that attend these workshops, come with very brilliant innovations. I know of a few learners, for instance. One came with an innovation in resolving our energy crisis. The other came with an innovation that seeks to resolve our water crisis. But learners, especially in our space, are also sensitized about sustainable development initiatives. So indeed, there are solutions that come with these learners. But of course, the other challenge that we are sitting with are deficiencies and gaps in our curriculum. Our curriculum is mainly focusing on the academic stream. There has been some interventions in trying to tamper with the structure of the curriculum. I've seen it in Gauteng. The Gauteng Department of Education has introduced what we call multi-certification program, where learners get exposed, to various programs with industry collaboration. Among those programs that we can talk about, we have entrepreneurship program. They've also introduced life skills. They acquire skills in ICT whilst they're still at school. Then there's also a notion of schools of specialization. And the notion of schools of specialization is also supported by the industry that would focus certain schools to specific STEM careers and STEM skills. You have schools of, a few schools of aviation, you've got maritime schools, you even have a school that specializes in research, among other things. You've got the School of Business with commercial subjects. You have school, an ICT school, and the majority of the schools in the township now have become smart schools. So these are the kind of interventions that we need to prepare learners for careers of the future.
Yeah, that's true. I also went to this other school. They also have robotics, and you can sign your child to do one of those. So before we close our session, is there any other thing that you'd like to highlight, or any highlight for you so far in this conference?
The one good thing about the conference, especially after this engagement, is the realization that we have neglected research as part of the solutions around science communication, science awareness, and science engagement. So that deficit is being closed to a point that we are making a bold recommendation that let's learn from these science shops, that model, that you can introduce research as part of STEM awareness. And secondly, we are saying formally, the introduction of reading and research in STEM engagement will ensure that we make the breakthrough that we've always wanted to make.
That was Professor Mfanelo, bridging the gap between society and science.